Hello, Simon here, and welcome to episode 11 of The Red Room. And what we're going to explore today, as you can see, because it's not particularly small, is the MPP 5x4" field camera. And I suppose the purpose of this particular episode is to demonstrate that, first of all, you can get hold of these MPPs quite readily, and even though it's most probably 60 years old, 50, 60 years old, the fact that it's a 5x4" piece of film, which I'll show you here now. So there's the a 5x4" piece of film. And as you can see, if I put a 35mm neg next to it, you can see how much bigger that is than the 35mm. So you're getting huge amounts of resolution out of it. So even for a very old camera, you really would have to be shooting on 60 megapixels, 100 megapixels to get to this level of quality. Even with an ancient lens, an ancient camera, it's the quality is fantastic. Now we're going to be shooting HP5 today, so 5x4 HP5. So this is Ilford. Now this box of Ilford HP5 is again, most probably about 30 years old. I think, is there an actual date on here? I thought there was a date on here. Not too sure if there is. It's old. But I've done some tests on it, and I processed some film in ID11. To be honest, it's as good today as it was back then. Absolutely brilliant. So if you can get a hold of some out-of-date film, first of all, it's cheap, and secondly, it's going to be great. Just do some tests, get some rolls of film. If you get them out of date, do a test, have a look at it, and then you know where you are, and it generally is okay. The other thing about, I'll show you this now, the designation you can see. So if I show you, you can see on the label here, it shows the notches at the top of the film. And I'll demonstrate what you do for this now. The notches designate which film it is. So HP5 is 3 notches. FP4, for instance, is 2 notches. So that's how you know. And the notches are there on the film. So you can see there are the notches. 3 notches. So this is a sheet of HP5. And every 5x4 film made has its own notch designation. Fuji, Kodak, they'll all be different. Some have triangle notches, some have round notches. These are sort of semicircular notches. I think it was Fuji or Kodak has triangular notches. So all the notches are slightly different. And 5x4 film goes into a 5x4 dark slide. And in a dark slide, you have 2 sides. You have that side and that side. And there's a plastic sheet. So that's the plastic sheet, and basically, what you do in the dark, you sort of take out your, and it has also 2. Let me just show you this a second. So it has effectively a white side or a silver side, and there's a black side. So when you're out in the field, when you expose a sheet of film, if it's that way, light. So, and then when you've exposed it, you flip it around and it's dark, and you know that one side is exposed and the other is not exposed. So basically, you put your sheet in there, and then the film goes emulsion up. So the emulsion is that size. So the notches are on your index finger, and then the film with the notches emulsion up, slide into the dark slide like that. So you can see your notches top right as you look at it from this direction. You close that there, and then also there's little, you can see these, these little lock things, so you can lock it, so stop it from pulling out. It won't pull out then, you see. So it's like a lock. There's one that side. There's also one on that side. So once your film is in, you put your notch, and then there, they make sure it doesn't pull out if you're in the bag or anything. Because sometimes if you're pulling something out of the bag, you could expose your film. So you make sure those notches those little levers are locking the dark slide in. And that's how you load a piece of 5/4 film, obviously in the dark. So that's a 5/4 film. You see the difference in size in negative. Obviously you need, there's no bells and whistles on this at all. So it's just aperture, shutter, and lens movements. So you need a light meter. So this is my lovely Luna Pro F, Gossen Luna Pro F, which is a great light meter. I love that light meter. You can get attachments for the light meter. I think I've shown you attachments before, I think in a previous episode. And you need a loop. So we need a loop to be able to look at the ground glass. I'll show you that. So basically you've got the ground glass here. So that's the ground glass, and you would put the loop on the ground glass to be able to get focus. So that's that. And then the camera itself is very straightforward. So if I just show you, so you have focus, which is here. You have a focus lock as well. A little lock there. You focus there. And the actual the actual camera itself, it folds up. So you can take the lens out, the lens panel. This is a Sony 180 f5.6 on a lens panel, and basically, when you're traveling with it, that folds back into there. They lock down, and it folds up into a very neat little package. So very nice to transport. Very good. So you just there's a little lever at the top. And you just bring it down. It locks in place. There's two little levers there, and you pull out. It goes along the rail. You pull it out, and then you put the lens. Very simply, that's it. It's all very straightforward. And as you'll see coming up now, I will be using a lot of rising front. So it's to keep your so the camera stays square, and you don't get any keystoning buildings then, because we're going to go to Llandaff Cathedral today, which is a fantastic cathedral in Cardiff, and I think you'll enjoy that visit. It is a fantastic building, ancient building, with some very lovely brutalist modern twists. So we'll get to that. But anyway, so we'll be using the rising front, and also the MPP has other movements as well, because you can actually unscrew that there, and you can actually shift the back, so you can actually have some displacement of focus control as well on the back, as well as the front. You can swing the front, so it'll swing back and forth for displacement of focus. So yeah, it's a really versatile, fun camera to use. It's very solid, built like a tank, and yeah, will last. It'll outlive me, put it that way. But and also, lastly, you need a kaburi, so to look under. So you see the ancient, when people look back in the olden days, they were looking under under the back, because obviously in here you can only see parts. You need to be in the dark to be able to see what's on the back of the camera to be able to focus it. So you need a cloth to be able to go under. Often a jacket will do. You just bring a jacket over and just do it that way, straightforward. But I've had this donkey's years, so that's what I used to use, and I still do. And you'll see it being used today because it's the only way you can focus these things, because the viewfinder is not bright. So you have to also, you've got your aperture here, and you have to have the aperture wide open to get focus and to be able to see the image, and then you stop down, and that's how that works. So yeah, so this is the MPP, lovely camera, and I hope you enjoy watching the shots with it and seeing how I use it, and also the lovely location we're going to visit, being Llandaff Cathedral in Cardiff. So without further ado, let's go and have a walk. So here we are at Llandaff Cathedral, and it's a magnificent cathedral, Llandaff Cathedral. It's in Llandaff City. It's a small little village and suburb of Cardiff, with the MPP 5.4 camera. So we're shooting 5.4 film, and I've brought 6 dark slides with me, so that's 12 exposures, shooting HP5, and got a little loop to focus on the back of the camera. And Llandaff Cathedral has a place in my heart because it's why I sort of grew up around here. My teenage years are spent around this area, and though I'm not religious in any way, shape or form, but it still is a lovely, beautiful place, and it's very tranquil in the middle of the city. So it's fantastic. Now the star of the show with first of all, Llandaff Cathedral itself is over 1,000 years old. It's St Tylo's Church. It was built on St Tylo's church, so it's a small little church within a cathedral, which is over 1,000 years ago. That there's been a site here, and but back in the architecture is amazing. So the gargoyles and everything coming out, and I'll do some photographs of that, and we'll hopefully get some shots of that with the MPP. But the actual the star of the show, I suppose, with the Llandaff Cathedral is Epstein's Christ in Majesty, which is a magnificent sculpture, sort of Christ in the centre of the cathedral. And I suppose it's a brutalist design in the middle of this 1,000-year-old Gothic cathedral. So the way the two work together is amazing. You just wouldn't think it would work, but it is. It's a magnificent place. So what we're going to do now today is have a tour of the graveyard's fantastic. I mean, some ancient graves, as you can imagine, and the cathedral itself is wonderful to photograph. So let's go off for a walk now and see what we can shoot. So that was a really fun day. I really enjoyed going around the Llandaff Cathedral. It was fantastic. The cathedral, I think, as you can now appreciate, is a real gem. And anyway, I think the MPP performed very well. I think it produced, the yielded some great results, even with its age, and the lens being as old as it is. The actual final results are absolutely banging sharp. And the resolution is fantastic. And actually, it's quite windy today, so I was quite pleased I went with HP5 because I was able to get some slightly shorter shutter speeds, which is good. The tripod, the manufactured tripod I was using was solid enough, and the camera wasn't going anywhere, and it doesn't get affected too much by wind. The other thing I was really pleased with. I said in my previous episode when I was talking about the Jobo, was this little thing I bought, which takes the 6 sheets of 5/4 film, and that's brilliant. The quality of the processing is wonderful. So I'm very pleased with the Jobo setup at the moment, and that little addition, which is fantastic. And I think, the actual 5/4. This is the negative of this image, and I think it's printed very well. There wasn't much apart from it's pretty well a straight scan. Well, it is a straight scan, and I just took out dust and scratches as always. Nothing much else done to it, to be honest. This is what it yielded. This is the result. So yeah, so that worked out very well. And as I said, with all the shots, actually, I was using the rising front on the camera, so it was almost fully risen. So because when you look at this straight on, I had to use the rising front to keep it all nice and square. It was a really fun day with the MPP. Really did enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed walking around with me, and I hope you like the final images and the selection I made. And we'll get together soon on the next episode. So please do like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. It's always exciting to see new subscribers, and that we're engaging at some level, and that's fun. That's great, because it's a chat. It's no more than that. It's a chat about this rather esoteric life I live, doing with different film cameras and digital cameras and video cameras. So yes, I think it'll all evolve over the months. But thank you so much for the subscriptions. Really appreciate it. So you take care, have a good week, and we'll see each other again soon. Cheerio.